This woman was in prison for 50 years, okay? The nerve of him to ask her, the last known person to be seen with his son, did you kill my son? The pretenses behind her attempting to clean any part of this crime scene. She had been accused of killing her husband by way of poisoning him.
Yeah, after that I get out, I walk home.
That confession was a joke. I mean, he could have said anything. He could have said anything, and there would have been no proof. Every time we see something like this, where it's like, there's no care or like regard, why would you cover for this man and allow him to leave the scene of the crime and act like he was never there?
Police were first called to the home here behind me in August of last year when the victim's mother insisted the death was the result of an accident caused by her kids playing on a couch with the baby. But court records show that suspect was arrested this week after confessing to a much different story. Inside this home on Burton Avenue, where children's toys sit unused on the front porch, police claim a mother admitted to smothering her 2-month-old child in the couch cushions because the baby wouldn't stop crying last August. According to this affidavit, 32-year-old Daisha Lacey admitted to police this week that she was high on meth the day her daughter died, and the mother wanted the child to be quiet so she could get some sleep.
A mother claiming that the reason she killed her child because she was on methamphetamine is not going to get her anywhere.
Attorney Jack Crawford isn't connected to the case, but says even though Lacey claimed the death was an accident, as a primary caregiver, she can still be held accountable for what happened inside the home.
For the charge of neglect, you don't need an intent to kill. You just need an act of neglect.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Kelly. We're back with another video. If you guys are new to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I would really appreciate that. And if you're a returning listener or subscriber, thank you as always for being a friend, and I thank everyone in advance for watching this video, and I really hope you guys will subscribe and help me out. It's a free way to do so, and I think you would enjoy the content if you are into true crime stories, news, politics, and so much more. We get into it all, so I just want to start off by saying, guys, this story is going to piss you off. This story is going to really shock and put you into a state of utter disbelief because it's unbelievable, quite frankly, to know what we just heard on the news report about this mother, if you can even call her that, getting high on drugs and then so carelessly putting her child face down onto a couch cushion, and smothering her child would lead to a charge of neglect, first of all. Second of all, just wait until you see the outcome of this case, okay? So we're going to get into it today, guys. This is the case of Daisha Lacey. And again, warning, this does deal with child abuse and the death of a 2-month-old precious baby. And it is one of the most disturbing and more infuriating cases I've seen in recent memory, because this just happened last week, that the outcome of this trial came to be, and I just couldn't pass up bringing some more awareness to this, because this is not the first time this judge has made an outrageous ruling or taken his position from the bench completely too far and used his own discretion and his own viewpoint or whatever it is going on within himself to, not do justice, which is what his sole purpose is as a judge in Indianapolis. And if you live in this area, guys, I would strongly urge you to take action and do all you can do to try to see if there's any local initiatives or petitions or any way to vote him out of the office, or whatever can be done needs to be done, because this judge is feckless. He is just he needs to be in prison as far as I'm concerned. But let's get into the details of this case, guys. So on the morning of August 29th, 2022, police responded to Lacey's residence in the 2700 block of Burton Avenue near East Riverside Drive and West 29th, and found the infant not breathing. According to the probable cause document filed in Lacey's arrest, medics pronounced the baby dead at the scene. She initially told investigators that she had placed the baby on the couch, propped up with a bottle, and gone to bed. She called 911 when she discovered the baby was not breathing. A few days later, one of the family members of this woman actually ended up contacting police and claimed that one of Lacey's other 2 children, who was a 3-year-old girl, girl at the time, who was home when the baby died, had made a off-the-cuff comment about, yeah, she was crying and mom put a pillow over her face. So the police went back to the home to talk to Lacey again, where they brought these claims to her attention, and further investigation was done, in which she was given a drug screen, the results of which conducted that Lacey had been high on meth the day the baby had died, and her story at this point seemed to change, in which she elaborated and said that her baby had been on the couch at the time, and her kids were playing inside, and she had been distracted by something that she was doing in the house and had walked away for a couple minutes. And when she came back, the baby had been smothered by blankets and pillows on the couch and tried to blame her children at the time of this incident.
Mother sits in the Marion County Jail tonight awaiting formal charges after police say that she admitted to smothering her baby, who would not stop crying.
When that baby died last August, the mom initially blamed her 2 other children. Our Rich Nye has been looking into this case today, and he's in studio to explain how a 3-year-old pointed the blame back at mom. Rich?
Right. That mother, 33-year-old Dacia Lacey, was at home with 3 children. This week in court records, she admitted to police that she was high and wanted to sleep when she abused her baby girl. But that wasn't mom's original story. Paramedics came to this house on the near northwest side about 10:30 in the morning, August 29th, for an unresponsive infant. 2-month-old Alana Monet Lacey was pronounced dead at the scene. In court records, the mother, Dacia Lacey, told police she woke up and found couch pillows and a blanket over the baby, who was not breathing. She told police it must be an accident caused by her 2 other children. But court records say Lacey's 3-year-old daughter made a spontaneous comment in front of extended family a few days after Alana died. She was crying and mom put a pillow over her face. A woman was so shocked she recorded what the little girl said and contacted police. An autopsy could not determine the cause of death. A drug screen showed meth in the mother's system. Detectives questioned her again Wednesday. Lacey allegedly admitted to being high from a pill. Court records say she told her baby to shut up and stop crying. She said she hit the baby and shoved a bottle forcefully in her mouth, then put Alana face down in the crease of the couch where the seat and back cushions meet.
So I just don't know in what world anybody in their right mind would think it's okay to discipline a baby, a 2-month-old baby, for crying too much. Okay, I don't care how high you are. I don't care what kind of drugs you're on. What civilized person would treat a 2-month-old baby like that? This is the most innocent of innocents. This is literally a helpless, defenseless child, damn near a newborn. Okay, the most precious, because they were so fucking high that they just wanted the baby to be quiet. Nevertheless, she had 2 other kids who were probably also making noises and being rambunctious children, just as children are, okay? This is why people shouldn't be allowed to have kids. In cases like this, where you see this happening, we see it happen all the time. It infuriates you. And it really is so despicable to think of this 2-month-old baby being treated like this by its own mother. So again, it took 5 months for the police to gather the evidence they needed and to investigate this. And I find it also hard to believe that the coroner and the medical examiner determined the cause of death to be undetermined, or they couldn't figure out how this baby actually succumbed to death and passed away, because normally when there's smothering, there's some sort of damage to the lungs, or there might be petechia in the eyes where those little like blood vessels pop because they can't get oxygen. I mean, I just don't understand how there was no signs of anything on this child, especially if she was being forceful with the baby. There was apparently no evidence of any sort of injuries to the child, like no bruising or no broken bones. And so I really just cannot even believe that. I mean, based on her own statements and based on the evidence that was presented in the probable cause affidavit. But this is what the court system has laid out. This happened in 2022. This woman just went on trial this past week. Okay. And I just want to warn you guys again, this will infuriate you. So court records show that Lacey gave police a lengthy confession detailing through tears how she smothered her daughter because she was high on meth and wanted her to stop crying so she could get some some sleep. And she has tried to maintain throughout all of this process that she was high and it was an accident, and she had no ill intent or no reason or intention of killing her daughter. And I say to that, I don't give a fuck. Ma'am, don't give a fuck, really. People have been found guilty of murder when they say it's an accident. All the time. It's happened multiple times, okay? So your words are meaningless at this point. There's a 2-month-old baby that died at your hands. So you can save all of that, please. So after the investigation done by the police, after learning all of the facts that were not initially reported to them, because Lacey lied to the police and initially tried to say that she didn't know what happened and blamed it on her other children, and then finally had to come clean whenever she was found having meth in her system, and she then confessed to forcefully handling her child and then intentionally putting her baby face down, wedged in the couch, so that the baby would stop crying or that she wouldn't hear her baby crying. Then she finally told them what really happened. And what did the cops end up charging her with? What did the DA for Indianapolis end up charging her with? They charged her for neglect. So you tell me, is that a just charge for a mother who does that to her 2-month-old baby? I think it's absolutely ridiculous. It makes no sense. A charge of neglect. And I'm going to read the statute to you guys just so we're all aware before we look at some of the trial videos, because it blows my mind. I mean, the very least she should have ever been charged with is manslaughter. That's the least. That's being generous. That's me being generous to her. In my opinion, if I was DA, I would have charged her with 2nd-degree murder. Okay, full fucking stop. Okay, and only because with the determination of the medical examiner and everything else, seems like everyone in that county, everyone in that city is just complete and utter useless fucking idiots, or just liberal dipshits. I don't know what is going on over there, but there wouldn't be enough facts, I don't believe, to have a 1st-degree murder charge. And a lot of times if you overcharge in a case, it'll bite you on the ass. I mean, look at Casey Anthony. But still, she had the right charge, and I don't even know what happened there. That's a fucking, don't even get me started. Anyways, so the least she should have been charged with manslaughter. The most is, and what she should have been charged with is 2nd-degree murder, in my opinion. But they charged her with neglect resulting in death, which is absolutely just beyond the scope of my imagination. So this was a breakdown of the different statutes, and so I liked this quote here. It says, the first thing to understand here is that in law there is a world of difference between negligent and intentional conduct. To quote Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr., even a dog distinguishes between being stumbled over and being kicked. So what she was charged with was neglect of a dependent resulting in death. And this is Indiana Code S 3546-1-4. And it is described as follows. A person having the care of a dependent, whether assumed voluntarily or because of a legal obligation, who knowingly or intentionally, 1, places the dependent in a situation that endangers the dependent's life or health, 2, abandons or cruelly confines the dependent, 3, deprives the dependent of necessary support, or 4, deprives the dependent of education as required by law. Let's look at some of the video from this woman in her trial. She chose to have a bench trial, which, if you guys don't know the difference, a bench trial is where the judge hears all the evidence and he makes a determination based on, what his interpretation of the law is and his understanding of the facts of the case, as opposed to a jury trial where 12 members of a jury hear the case and they determine the guilt or innocence of the person based on their knowledge. So in some cases this can work out for you. In other cases I've seen it backfire. Like there was the recent one that comes to mind is the girl, I think her name was Mackenzie Shrilla, who chose to have a bench trial, and she was accused of murdering her boyfriend because they got into a car accident. And in that case I thought that I'm still not sure. I've been meaning to do that case, but I just haven't had the time to. But I'm still not sure whether or not justice was served in that case. I don't know. I'll have to look into it and see. But in this case, I know for a fact There was no justice served on this day, and I'm not sure that justice has ever been served in this idiot judge's courtroom, ever. I think he's a disgrace. So let's look at some of this footage of the court proceedings.
Okay. All right. You may proceed.
The state has charged Ms. Lacey with one count of neglect of a dependent resulting in death. It reads, on or about August 29, 2022, Daisha Lacey, being at least 18 years of age and having the care of Alana Lacey, a dependent less than 14 years of age, did knowingly place said dependent in a situation that endangered the dependent's life or health. To it, placed Alana Lacey in a dangerous sleeping position, which resulted in the death of Alana Lacey. The Supreme Court has told us that these cases of neglect causing death are an issue of proximate cause. Proximate cause is implicated. And they have said that generally an act or omission is said to be a proximate cause of an injury if the resulting injury was foreseen or reasonably should have been foreseen as the nature and probable consequence of an act or omission. And the legislature has made this offense a level 1 felony. In this case, we have a 2-month-old found deceased, and we don't know how she was found because the only person that can tell us that is Daisha Lacey. And she has repeatedly lied about what happened, and she has told multiple different stories about how Alana died. Starting with the 911 call, her initial story, she is blaming Julius, 1-year-old Julius, saying that her baby died of SIDS. And if you listen to the 911 call, Daisha knows Alana is dead. It is not a matter of she walked away for 20 minutes and came back with a pillow on top of her. If you actually listen, she's telling the person, I can't do CPR. She's not doing it. She knows Alana is dead. Officer Harvey gets there. She tells the story. She was on the couch with a bottle. I just went to get laundry. I was gone 15, 20 minutes. I came back, a pillow's over her, and the kids rolled on her. I saw her. She was fine at 9:30. That would have been less than an hour before. The reenactment. Now she's not sure how long she was gone. The pillow was over her and she was facing the back of the couch. New version of events. Grace, a couple days later, just a 3-year-old child, nobody questioning her, says, Mommy was mad and Alana was crying and Mommy put the pillow on her face. And finally, months later in her interrogation, after she is confronted with her multiple lies, after she is confronted with the fact that she was high when this happened, after she is confronted with the fact that the detective knows things and knows that she is lying, she finally says, ultimately, that she was high and that she just wanted Alana to stop crying and she just wanted to sleep. So she put her face into the cushion and left her there. Just left a 2-month-old. And most importantly, she had safer sleeping options that she chose to neglect using. There was a lot of questions about, is this pack and play safe sleep? And I don't think there was a conclusive answer because we don't have it here. But this is the part where I would tell the jury, use your common sense. It's going to be safer than putting your baby's face in a pillow or a couch cushion. So she could have cleared out that pack and play, put her in there and just walked out. That's what they tell you to do with your baby if you can't handle it. Put them in a safe place and walk away. She didn't do that. She had every opportunity. It was right there at her fingertips. And she made the decisions that she did. And they are not accidents. They are not tragedies. They are not a series of unfortunate events. Even Grace told you the baby was sleeping in bed with Mommy. That's where she slept. So the fact that Alana Lacey was alive 81 days later, for her to put her face in a couch cushion to get her to stop crying is a miracle. This was a prolonged series of active decisions by Daisha Lacey that caused Alana's death. And for those reasons, the court should find her guilty.
Ms. Seago, how are you employed?
I am currently employed with the Fishers Police Department.
What is your role at Fishers?
I am a criminal forensic investigator.
Prior to working at Fishers, where did you work?
I worked at the Indianapolis Marion County Forensic Services Agency, also known as the Crime Lab.
And what was your role with the Crime Lab?
I was a crime scene specialist.
What's a crime scene specialist?
A crime scene specialist is an individual that will respond to crime scenes to document the scene and collect evidence.
And is that essentially what you're doing up at Fishers now as well?
Yes.
What is your education and training background that allows you to be a crime scene specialist?
I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice with a concentration in forensic science. I also have a master's degree in criminal justice with a concentration in law enforcement and corrections administration. And I also have a crime scene investigator certification through ILEA.
How long have you been a crime scene specialist?
Just over 4 years now.
And was the majority of that at the Marion County Crime Lab?
Yes.
And as a crime scene specialist, were you working on August 29th, 2022?
Yes, I was.
And did you respond to 2706 Burton Avenue?
Yes.
And what did you do when you arrived?
Initially, I went to speak with the detective that was on scene. She was taking a statement at the time, so I waited until she was done, and then I spoke with her.
And after you spoke with the detective, what did you do next?
When I got information from the detective, I began to document the scene.
And what's your first step in documenting the scene?
My first step would be taking a video. After that, I would take photographs.
And the crime scene video, is that a standard procedure when you respond to a death investigation?
Yes.
And after you take photos, what did you do next?
After I took photos, I documented the evidence that would be collected. I placed evidence counts and photographed those. A sketch and measurement was then completed, and those items were collected.
Were you also present during the reenactment video that the deputy coroner conducted?
Yes.
And did you collect any items?
Yes, I did.
What items?
I collected a blanket and a pillow.
And at this time, the state's going to move to State's Exhibit 3, which is a disc containing the crime scene video as well as the reenactment video.
No, will show the crime scene video. Both 3 is both.
Yes.
Okay. We'll show States 3 admitted without objection. Lawyers, can you give me some context? What are you referring to as a reenactment video?
So as part of the SUDI form, which the pathologist will discuss, the deputy coroner does a reenactment with a baby doll on scene.
Okay.
So it has the defendant show the deputy coroner and the investigators how she found the decedent.
Okay. And is there's an audio portion of this as well?
Yes.
Is there a transcript?
No.
Why not?
I don't know.
Okay. Go ahead.
Daisha Lacey is charged with neglect of a dependent resulting in death. Police believe she was tired and high on meth and smothered her 2-month-old daughter Alana, who would not stop crying.
Marion County 911, where's the location of your
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, my baby's dead. My newborn is dead.
The baby was dead when first responders arrived at the house on Burton Avenue on August 29, 2022. Lacey reenacted with investigators how she put the baby in a rocking chair with a bottle and laid down for a few minutes.
Just lies.
But in the courtroom, her other daughter, now almost 5 years old, told Judge Mark Stoner mom was mad, hit the baby with a pillow, and put the pillow on her face. The little girl told other family the same story shortly after the baby died.
She said, yeah, my mommy got really mad at her because she wouldn't stop crying, and she held a pillow on her face and hit her with it. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what did you just say?
Daisha's father broke down on the witness stand before testifying that his granddaughter told him the same story months later.
Papa, I seen my mommy take a pillow and put it over the baby's face to get her to stop crying.
But the defense argues Lacey was just an exhausted mother taking care of 3 children, 3 and under, who woke up to find her baby dead.
The evidence will leave this court with a lot of questions and not a lot of answers. And the reason that this court will have a lot of questions is because this is a tragic accident with no real explanation.
This is a bench trial with Judge Mark Stoner deciding the verdict and the sentence.
So that 911 call is truly disturbing. I mean, she sounds, totally calm and not panicked at all. Oh my God, my baby, my newborn baby. Like, bitch, what? I'm blown away. I'm blown away at the audacity of this person. And then having the recreation of what she claims happened to her baby without a blink of an eye, okay? Just completely normal. I wouldn't be able to live with myself. I would just end it because I would feel like such a piece of shit person for doing something so heinous, and then having the audacity to first blame your other child of doing something harmful to your newborn that you caused the death of, and then to have the sheer and utter gall to put and recreate a fake made-up story after sounding completely heartless and totally calm and utterly emotionless after that 911 call. It's disturbing to the next level, okay?
It was a bench trial here that lasted 3 days at the Community Justice Campus, and that means that the judge heard all the evidence, there was no jury, and the judge decides the verdict. And Judge Mark Stoner ruled within the last hour that Daisha Lacey did not commit a criminal act of neglect that resulted in her 2-month-old baby's death. Lacey allegedly admitted in a police interview that she smothered her child while she was high on meth and tired. She allegedly put a pillow on the baby's face to make her stop crying. Lacey's other daughter, who was only 3 at the time, testified that she saw her mom put a pillow on her baby's face. But there was no medical or physical evidence presented at trial to show that the baby was smothered or that she died from suffocation. The judge said that the charges were not appropriate in this case.
Court accordingly enters judgment of not guilty, reluctantly. I do hope that you will take the opportunity to get the counseling that you need, to get the counseling for the children that you need, that you learn from this behavior, and hopefully the rest of the community learns from this behavior, that you cannot go out and party on the weekend and be with children.
Toxicology report did show meth in Daisha Lacey's system, but Judge Mark Stoner said if she had been charged with reckless homicide or involuntary manslaughter, he could have found her guilty, but she's not guilty of neglect of the dependent resulting in death. Daisha Lacey has been in jail for a little over a year since her arrest in this case. She will be free later today.
So this judge needs his fucking ass kicked, okay? Hypothetically. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable that you could think that a judge would find someone not guilty when a 2-month-old baby died in their custody. I mean, I don't care what the circumstances were. I really could care less, honestly, unless it was a true accident, you know, and it's horrifying either way. But this person admitted to purposefully putting her baby face down on a cushion, knowingly. You know, this is dangerous and hazardous to the baby's health. I mean, at the very least, find her guilty of something. I know that judges have the power to do that, okay? I just don't, and hopefully the DA will come back and like amend the charges and retry her under something else. But I seriously doubt they'll do that because they probably don't have the balls to do it, because they know they'd probably be scrutinized. And this woman's already spent a year in prison, and now the judge has gone and found her not guilty because of a technicality, more or less, is what he was saying. He doesn't think that she neglected the baby. How is putting a 2-month-old baby face down in a couch cushion not neglectful? How is being high on drugs while you're watching your 3 children not neglectful? First of all, and second of all, I don't even think that was the right charge to begin with. Anyways, you know, I think it's outrageous. And this judge deserves to be removed from the bench immediately, because he has, I mean, there's just no objective truth to what he was saying. I don't care what the findings of the medical examiner were. A 2-month-old just doesn't die from, you know, old age or whatever the hell. I mean, a 2-month-old baby, there's a cause of that death. And just because there was no signs of, you know, abuse or no signs of like smothering, which I don't even know if I believe, then that doesn't mean that it was just, oh, it's a mystery. It's a medical mystery. The baby just passed away in its sleep. No, something happened here. And who are we going to hold responsible? Apparently nobody. Apparently you can now kill your 2-month-old baby in Indianapolis and say it was an accident and get away with it. This is what the point we've come to. Absolutely disgusting. And before we get out of here, I just want to show you guys, because this judge truly is a piece of work, and I wanted to cover this story not only because it's a horrific tragedy and no justice was served whatsoever for this little baby, but to also highlight the judge and just to show how much of a disgrace he is and how progressive policies, this like new form of justice that we have here, it's just utter bullshit, because this is not the first time he's done something like this. So this judge also came under fire not too long ago for a killing of a deputy, this woman right here, out of Indianapolis, back in 2020. And there was complete and utter outrage over the sentencing of this young man here, because he ended up basically giving him time served for killing a cop, and then ended up tacking on other time or for some other charge. So basically, the young lady who died, the cop, got no justice for her killing either. It's just, it's enough to really just keep you up at night, knowing that there's people like this who are on the bench who could possibly be deciding the fate of somebody that you love, somebody that you care about, gets killed by a thug, and you get this feckless judge.
An IMPD officer can now plead insanity. A Marion County judge ruled today that Elias Dorsey can seek the insanity defense as he faces a possible death penalty. Dorsey is accused of killing Officer Breanne Leith in April of 2020. He is charged with murder, attempted murder, confinement, and battery. Prosecutors say Dorsey fired shots through the closed apartment door, striking Leith. She died of 2 gunshot wounds to the head. Leith's mother spoke to us today about the judge approving an insanity defense.
I think it's a joke. He doesn't have any mental history. I was in law enforcement for a long time, and people that have that kind of past, and he doesn't, that we're aware of. And we've looked into it as well. So I feel like they're just trying to do the best they can, and it's frustrating.
The judge also approved another delay for Dorsey's trial. It had been set to begin in September. Now it's scheduled for next February.
So it says here, the man accused of killing IMPD officer Breanne Leith is pleading insanity. Mark Stoner ruled Friday that, and I don't know what kind of shit he's smoking, because he sure is a stoner, if this is the kind of way that he rules and in his court of supposed law. So he ruled Friday that Elias Dorsey can seek the insanity defense as he faces a possible death penalty for killing Leath in April 2020. And this was a quote from him. "You have an absolute right to present whatever defense you choose," Stoner told Dorsey during a hearing in a 6th-floor courtroom at the Community Justice Center. And Judge, no the fuck he doesn't. How about no, he really doesn't? Because last time I checked, I thought you had to prove insanity. I thought that had to be a provable history of mental illness or some sort of actual psychological evaluation testing that showed mental illness. You can't just pick it as if you're just picking what you want to wear for the next day. It's absolutely ridiculous. And he doesn't, I'm sorry, I don't remember missing the right to present whatever defense you choose in the Constitution or in the 10, commandments or whatever you're referencing. Yes, you get to put up a defense for yourself. You have the right to a defense, but no, you don't just get to pick insanity if you're not truly insane. You sound ridiculous. So Dorsey, wearing street clothes, answered questions from the judge and confirmed he does indeed wish to plead insanity. Stoner said the court will assign 2 psychiatrists to evaluate Dorsey's mental health. So if he's answering questions, let's just think about this for a second. If he's answering questions in a court of law like a normal person would be, does that really seem like an insane person to you? I would say no. So they were called there for a domestic disturbance dispute, and he fired shots, again, like they said, through the closed apartment door, striking Leath, and she died of 2 gunshot wounds, and he also shot and wounded a woman who tried to run from the apartment. Miscarriage of justice. Police union calls for judge to step down following cop killer's sentence, citing what the union saw as a lenient punishment of the man who killed Officer Breanne Lee. So the call for resignation is the harshest criticism yet of Stoner, who on Thursday sentenced Elias Dorsey to a little over 5 years for Leath's death, angering city and police officials. The judge, however, sentenced Dorsey to 40 years for the attempted murder of his ex-girlfriend, with 25 years in prison and 15 years on mental health probation. So ridiculous. So you give justice for one victim and not the other. I mean, what kind of sick logic is that? This is the kind of thing that he does. This is the kind of justice he's bringing, quote unquote, in Indianapolis, Indiana, guys. And I hope that you, if you live in this area, hold this person accountable, truly. And if you are in this area, please let me know in the comments down below, because this is absolutely outrageous. I mean, it's just beyond the scope, guys. I mean, this is the type of people that are deciding people's fates, okay? And they're putting away people who don't deserve it. And then they're letting off people who also don't deserve to be let off. It's like we're living in an upside down world. Everything is ass backwards, okay? And I'm sick of this progressive ideology, this bullshit infiltrating and poisoning our justice system and every other institution that is supposed to stand for something and ends up standing for absolutely nothing. It makes me absolutely sick. And now this woman's child will never have justice because she was let off by this fucking idiot judge. And the DA is probably not going to come back and recharge her, which is absolutely what they should do. But it's probably not going to be the case. But it should. What do you guys think should happen, though? I would love to know your thoughts and comments down below. Please also like the video if you like it. And don't forget to subscribe. It's a free way and it helps me out, guys. I really would appreciate it so much. I would love to get over 2,000 followers. Or 2,000 subscribers. That would be awesome. That would be epic. So let me know, guys, and give it a follow. Give us a subscribe. I appreciate y'all. This was tough. But until next time, guys, y'all take it easy out there, and I will see y'all later. Bye. This woman was in prison for 50 years, okay? The nerve of him to ask her, the last known person to be seen with his son, did you kill my son? The pretenses behind her attempting to clean any part of this crime scene. She had been accused of killing her husband by way of poisoning him.
Yeah, after that I get out, I walk home.
That confession was a joke. I mean, he could have said anything. He could have said anything, and there would have been no proof. Every time we see something like this, where it's like, there's no care or like regard, why would you cover for this man and allow him to leave the scene of the crime and act like he was never there?